Okay, so lesson 19, value word problems, and AA means AAA. We'll talk about that in a minute. So, we'll start with these value word problems, which you guys probably remember. Florence had 80 nickels and dimes, whose value was $6.50. How many of each kind of coin did she have? So we want two equations, and we want to use nickels and dimes, okay? And one of the equations is always just the total amount of the coins, and the other equation is always the total value. So raise your hand if you remember how to write the equation for the total amount of coins. Leo? 5n plus 10d equals 650. That is correct for the value equation, okay? So yes, that's the value equation. So the nickels are worth 5, the dimes are worth 10, and how come we use 650 instead of 6.50? Because we used 5 and 10, right? If I use 6.50, what do I have to use for 5? 0.05 and 0.10. So this is easier to use all whole numbers, right? So make it all out of pennies, okay? All right, and the second one's just the total number of coins. So raise your hand if you remember how to do that formula. Bailey? Good. N plus D equals 80. That's just the total number of coins. You don't have to write that down. I'm just writing that for you, okay? Substitution or elimination, they're both pretty easy. I personally just want to multiply this whole bottom equation by negative 10 because 10s are easy for me, okay? And I can just write it down right here. So I can multiply this by negative 10. I can multiply this by negative 10. And I can multiply this by negative 10, which just adds the 0 on there, right? So I'm going to do elimination, but you could also do substitution. Okay, so this adds down. We get negative 5n. My d's will now cancel. And 650 minus 800, what's that? You guys want to back me up on that? Anybody got it? You guys are just like, no, I'll just let you sit there. All right, and then we divide by negative 5, so what do we get? 30. Wow, thank you, 30. Okay, good. So we have 30, and you have to actually write nickels, okay, 30 nickels. And then if we had 80 total coins, so I'm going to go back to my original equation here, the one that's in red, that says n plus d equals 80, and I'm going to plug in 30. So how many dimes do I have to have then? I feel like I'm all alone up here, you guys. All right, 50 dimes, 30 nickels. You guys all remember that? You guys look like you do. Okay, so next problem, same type of thing. Roses sold for 6 pence each, and daffodils for 4 pence each. If Jim bought 35 flowers and spent 300 pence, how many daffodils did he buy? So one is the value, the total value, and the other one is just the total number of flowers. All right, so who can give me one equation here? I feel like I should pause. What do you think? R plus D equals 35. Good. There's the total number of flowers. That's just total flowers, right? We have a certain number of roses plus a certain number of daffodils is 35. The second equation has to be the value of all of them. So somebody else tell me the value equation, Ethan. Good. Okay, we don't have to change any decimals on this one. So roses were 12 pence each. So 12 goes in front of the roses. Daffodils were 4 pence each. So 4 goes in front of the daffodils. And the total is 300 pence. So this one is all pence. And this one's just the total flowers. All right? And you guys probably know how to solve this, so we probably don't have to, right? You guys all know how to do this. You could do elimination or substitution, right? Either way. Okay. AA means AAA. All right, so what does that mean? If you know two angles are the same in triangle. Okay? Then what do we know about the third angle? So write down this definition. If two angles are congruent in a triangle, then the third angle is also congruent. So you want to remember that word congruent, okay? You also want to know we're talking about the angles in a triangle, all right? So if you ever saw this in the future on a test, if two angles are congruent in a triangle, then the third angle is also congruent. And why is that? What do the angles have to add to? Yeah, they have to add to 180. So if these two are the same, that third one has to make 180. So we know this one's the same. And then if we have three angles that are the same, what kind of triangles are these? Similar. That one little squiggly line means similar. All right, similar. Cool. So here is this lovely picture. Go ahead and draw it. We've got two triangles. They tell us one angle is congruent. Do we know any other angles are congruent? Even though they don't have it marked. Leo. Yeah, we have vertical angles right here. These two that are right across from each other are definitely congruent because they are vertical angles. Then, if we know two angles, we know the third one also has to be congruent because two angles means we know three angles. Bless you. Okay, two angles means three angles. And now we can solve this the same way that we did yesterday. Now, it's kind of, some people get confused because, again, the triangles are like turned around. So you have to look at the matching angles. That's how you're going to set up your ratios. So we know this guy has a 2 on it, and across from the 2-pronged one is a 5. And this one has a 2 on it, and we have a 3. So I'm going to go small to big, so 3 over 5. And the way that I matched them is they were across from the matching angles. All right, so I want to find x. Okay, let's say I want to find x. Which side is across from the 1-pronged angle? The 5. So I have to use x and 5 together. Now, if I say 3 over 5, I went small to big, then what do I have to put on the other side to find x? X over 5 or 5 over x? 5 over x. Okay? Because I went the small triangle to the big triangle, the small triangle to the big triangle. So I have to go the same way. All right, so now cross multiply 3x equals 25. Divide by 3, so we get 25 thirds. Okay? And then I do the same thing. So I start with the sides that I know, which is 3 over 5. This time we want to find the y value. So we definitely know which sides are left, but just to make sure, you can check. The y is across from the 3-pronged angle, and the 4 is across from the 3. And then, again, do I do y over 4 or 4 over y? I have to do 4 over y because we did small triangle to big triangle. So 4 over y. All right, cross multiply. So 3y equals 20. And we get 20 thirds. And we can leave it improper. Any questions?